Hi there. Welcome to another one of my Own Your Expertise interviews. I'm Emily Crookston, owner and decider of all things at the Pocket PhD. I'm the ghostwriter for Rebels, Renegades, and Mavericks, and I love helping experts with big ideas get those ideas out of their heads and into the hands of their fans. Today, I'm sitting down with Kim Shernoff. Kim is the creator of the Unlock Your Sales Mindset program and the owner of Mindset Awakening Inc. Kim, thank you for speaking with me. Would you like to tell us a little bit more about who you work with and what you do?
Sure. Well, first, thank you so much for having me. I'm super excited to be here. So I have the privilege to work with entrepreneurs who are very, much an expert in their field, but not so comfortable when it comes to sales. And they really worry about being too pushy or maybe kind of coming across inauthentic and I'm seeing post after post about salesy, and what they're really not, the thing is with so much great opportunities for these entrepreneurs to share what they know, there's a different mindset that needs to switch. So it's not only understanding the principles of selling, which you do need to understand, especially as an entrepreneur, small business owner, solopreneur, what have you, but understand the mindset that goes around in each area of the sales process. So I have the privilege now to work with these different entrepreneurs and kind of help them along that aspect. And it's just been amazing. I have clients that, they were just like, wow, I have never realized how much fun this could be or how I'm able to really change my business. And really, once you lead with being authentic and integrity in what you do, it's a whole different game when it comes to sales.
When I started my business now 5 years ago, sales was a totally different experience for me because I think I realized, I'm just really getting on the phone to tell you how I can add value to you. And if that's something that you want and you need right now, and it makes sense for your budget and all of that, then we're going to work together and that's cool. If not, also cool. I have that kind of more laid back, discovery kind of attitude rather than, here, let me force on you some product that I don't believe in.
Yeah. No, how do you think that happened for you? Where do you think along the way your shift started to happen for your mindset?
Yeah, it's a really good question. I'm not even sure. This is just, to me, sales doesn't even feel like when I get on a sales call, it doesn't feel like a sales call. It's just like, let's see if we're a good fit, and maybe it's just that I knew that I needed to come into things with a relaxed attitude or I was going to just stress myself out to the max, and I think I also learned really quickly that people can smell desperation. I could smell it on people who I met, I could just sense it and it turned me off. And I was like, oh, you can never come into a call with that kind of attitude. It just has to be, we're just going to see what happens. And, I've got this awesome thing to show you and, let's see if we can make it work.
And that's what I love about working with a lot of my clients is really understanding the sales mindset through the entire sales process. And it's a game changer for so many people. I loved hearing how you were able to kind of have that shift as well.
Thanks. Yeah, very cool.
Yeah.
So do you want to talk a little bit about your path to becoming an expert? How would you describe it?
I would say, well, it's interesting because I've never thought that I'd be sitting here having any type of conversation about being an entrepreneur. It's never crossed my mind. It's never been anything that I thought I would do. That said, I never really knew what exactly. I was kind of just went along in life. I think like so many people do, you just kind of bounce around, think things are just going to work out. But as far as what brought me here to become an expert, I think I have to go back, and I don't like to use the word expert because I think I'm learning just like everybody else. So let's say maybe I'm a little bit further along than others, and not as far along as some other people that are ahead of me. But for me personally, there was so much mindset work that I had to do starting at a very young age, not realizing what that was, right? So it was like one thing, like kind of after another, and what have you. All that required me to change my mindset. Change the way I talk to myself, change the way that I looked at myself, because nothing was going to change. So it was a lot of personal mindset work. And then, luckily I graduated with honors, got my master's, taught college at 24, and then went on to figure out career. So then I just stumbled upon this great company that was just starting out. We were a startup. All around, assessment. And we just worked really hard. I had a great boss, great team, great technology, everything aligned, and then, so as far as my path there, my sales career was over 20 years, I've had one boss, and he was a great mentor and really led the foundation for everything that I'm able to do sales wise, and then also learning on my own.
So what made you want to go out on your own after 20 years?
Yeah, I can't say, I always think about this, and I just spoke to somebody the other day about this. There wasn't like this defining moment, it wasn't like, a great opportunity that I had for a really long time. I think along the way, though, I just stopped figuring out what I wanted to do. Like I was living in the high rise. I had the really nice car. I lived in, Rittenhouse in Philly, like great area. That's what my definition of success was. But as I've gotten there over the years, I would hear that voice, like, this isn't, are you happy? You're not really happy. It had nothing to do with anybody else, but just like something inside of me. It was so terrifying for me to be like, I am not happy. And like having to say, like, I don't know what I'm going to do, but I have to go. Like, I have to figure out who I was, my own identity on my own.
I hear that. I used to be a professor, and it was the same kind of thing. Like, just keep going. It'll get better, or whatever. It's going to be fine. And then at some point I woke up and was like, wait a minute. Why do I keep pushing off the happy? Like, I keep saying, oh, I'll be happy when I get this thing, when I get that. And it's like, actually, I could be happy right now. Right. And all I have to do is change this thing. And that's really scary, because that's a big part of my identity. But totally, and the same as you, like, I was like, I don't know what I'm going to do, but I got to stop this. How would you say you've learned to translate your expertise for others?
I think for me, when I think about this, I think until I learned to really own being like dyslexic, and understanding that everybody learns differently, then I was able to realize, like, the way I would communicate things to people, it was a bit different than you might just hear it. And it just registered. And I have such an interest in helping other people to make sure they grasp what we're talking about, because I know what it's like not to. And that's the last thing I want for anybody else. So I think that's what really allows me to translate it, because I will keep trying to figure it out. I don't not give up. Like, I'm in there with you until we figure out, where do we get that to click? And I really now believe it's been a blessing to be dyslexic and having so many different struggles and over my life, that I'm able to communicate things in a way that other people now kind of understand and they're not intimidated by, and we have fun, because learning needs to be fun. And that was probably the biggest thing for me. Regardless of what you're learning, it needs to be a good experience.
I've heard this from other people who have learning disabilities or who are dyslexic, that, it's not so much about struggling to learn. It's more about struggling to fit into the box of how learning happens when you're in school, and a lot of people they realize, they just realize that that's not what works for them. Like, they need kinesthetic, like they need to, feel and touch and, have that sensory experience in order to really learn, rather than reading and taking notes, So besides the program, do you also work one-on-one with people?
So I do work one-on-one with individuals. It really is just a matter, because some individuals, depending on where that business is, it may make sense to really just work with them one-on-one. The group, I also keep it very small, because I want to make sure I need to know your business. I need to understand your business. I understand your sales process. So I have some clients that it makes more sense to just keep it on a one-on-one, maybe pop into the role play, and then other ones, depending on where they are, to do it in that smaller group. So yes.
Cool. Good to know. Oh, Kim, I've enjoyed this conversation so much. Thank you for.
It was my pleasure.
Yeah. Can you tell people where they can find you online if they're interested?
Absolutely. So you can definitely find me here on LinkedIn. And then also you can find me at www.saleswithkim.com. And there you're going to see a lot more about the program, how it's structured, who it's designed for, really kind of learn a lot more there. And then if you wanted to learn more just about my personal background, KimberlyShernoff.com. All those links, though, are in my profile on LinkedIn that you can capture there.
Awesome. And I'll put those links into the comments in the post as well. So.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Kim.
That was my pleasure. Thank you so much for having me.